Good afternoon. Thank you for being out here today. It's really good to be back in Acton. So many of you I see several times a year, either at the meetings or at the picnic in the summer. I want to talk a little bit about our office right now, and I'd suggest to you in this race there's two things that are really important. One is experience, and the second is representation. And over the past few years, you've given me the privilege of leading this office through some very unusual times, through all the tragedy of George Floyd, through COVID, through Trump 1 and Trump 2. And our core mission has remained the same. That is the protection of the public safety. And because of those changes, we've really restructured the office to do so many different pieces of that, creating a cold case unit, creating a conviction integrity unit, a development team for our young lawyers, a diversion program, and also creating a position of Director of Racial Justice Initiatives to really be part of the reach out that we've been doing across the county. But the second piece, and that work has been so effective that Middlesex County is now routinely recognized as one of the safest counties in the United States. The second piece of that work, which is equally important, is the protection of the rule of law. I believe in this process. I believe in our system. I believe in people's rights. I believe in due process. And, you know, this isn't new for me. Unfortunately, during the first Trump administration in 2018, we were in the middle of a murder trial. And when you get to that point after several years, you have a family that's sitting there hoping to see someone held accountable, and you have someone who's charged with murder, who is obviously hoping to be found not guilty. And that process was going along, and one day the judge took the morning break, and when we came back, ICE had visited the courtroom and taken the defendant. He was gone. We haven't seen him since. And when that happens, the trial comes to an end. So no one gets justice in that setting. That's not what we believe in. That's not who we are. And I could not have ICE interfering with my job. So I organized a group. We filed a lawsuit against ICE. And in 2018, got the first injunction in the United States that said that ICE could not come in and interrupt the process and take somebody away. It was important not only because we were the first, but it then led to a number of other states following that. And we were able to hold ICE at bay, at least in the courtrooms, for a number of years until President Biden was sworn in. Well, we are right back where we were. And not only are we back there around courtrooms, but we are back there around things that every one of us in this room has known for years, that for decades that we have recognized that churches are places of sanctuary. Hospitals are places of sanctuary. We don't recognize that anymore. We have people not coming to the courthouse to get protection. They're not going to the hospital to get their care for themselves or their children. And we have credible reports, and just think about this, of families not somewhere far away, but here in Middlesex County, not planning a funeral for a family member because they are afraid that people will be taken from the place of worship. That's not who we are, and we cannot tolerate that. So I've worked very hard, along with our legislative partners, with the governor, with the Black and Latino Caucus, with Mayor Wu, in helping to file legislation to take back those places as sanctuaries, to protect our courtrooms. And I've spent a great deal of time out in our communities, again, working with our elected and with our police chiefs, to really let people know what their rights are, what the remedies are when you see things happening on the street. That's a critical part of our work. But it's not just that. We've also, I believe in hope as well. That's why we created our Empowering Citizens program. You can go online, see the program on Wednesday. We had lots of people talking about their service in the military, things that they are doing to be good citizens. The second thing that's important in this race is representation. You know, some of you know that when I was a young assistant district attorney, my then law school boyfriend and I were the victims of an armed robbery that went horribly wrong. He was killed in that robbery, shot in front of me. That is a voice that I bring to this work all of the time. I know better than most people what the impact is of gun violence, and I know how important it is for the voices of victims to be heard and how you strike that balance. And the second piece is, we have 11 district attorneys here in Massachusetts. I am the only woman who has the privilege to serve in that role. That's a voice that has to be at the table. It's reflected in my work on legislation, for instance, to create the crime of sexual assault by a medical professional. And I ask humbly that you continue to allow me to do this work, and I ask for your vote on September 1st. So thank you, and thank you for having me.